Good evening, my friend. Tonight we're going to do a little bit of a kind of an exercise in something which I'm telling you to do. I have mentioned this in the past, and it's something that I think is a great way for you to kind of get a feel for what's happening in the world. Oh, by the way, a little side note. Never, ever, 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 ever compare anything that anyone is doing today with Mengele. Ever. Trust me, no matter how draconian you think something is, no matter how over the top something is, no matter whatever it is, especially if it deals with CDC or Fauci, do not compare it with Mengele. Trust me, there is no comparison. You're not impressing your friends. Just want to share that with you. Gratuitous, thought I'd throw that out. By the way, if you see pundit, I don't know you. Let's look at what's happening tonight. And I've told you this before, and I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. You look at what the enemy is saying. Tonight we're going to look at the headlines of Drudge, which used to be in the old days a sign of kind of what the right or the conservatives thought. But this is a very interesting thing because this is the enemy. This is the playbook of the enemy. And this is what they're trying to say. Trying to prevent this from being way around this. Maybe does that help at all? A little bit. Okay. Update: heat wave reaching max strength, 128 degree peak. On and on and on. Phoenix braves relentless scorch. What happens if to your body during broil? Europe hottest ever. New Sahara blast. Athens wildfires forces evacuation. Blaze on Canary Islands. Smoke pollution from Canada returns. What do you think the purpose for that is? Tahuya, yes. A little hand flatulence for you, dear friend. Thank you, Tahuya. Thank you. What do you think this is about? It's setting you up for the climate change argument. Number one, that's what they're doing. Here it comes. Climate change. Got to do something about it. Oh my God, it's so hot. Climate change. What do you want to... They never tell you. So therefore, blank. When you hear and you see what is planned, not necessarily just from our friends at Tahuya, not just from our friends at World Economic Forum, but Kimmy's got it right. Climate lockdowns, no driving on Sundays, congestion pricing. You're going to start taking your streets, 15-minute cities. You know about that. CBDCs, everything. What they did here in New York, and you'll see in your cities as well, they'll take, let's say, an area, like normally with this 4, 5, 6 lanes, and they will just reduce the driving. They'll make lanes parking. So you can have those little metered things there. And they just minimize the ability to park. They'll put up these bike lanes and walking lanes, just trying to destroy. They don't want you driving. They don't want you driving. They want you home, and they don't want you perambulating, and they don't want you moving around, and they want you to accept your enslavement. Okay, that's number one. Number two, a story which I don't think I can explain enough to you, but I'm trying my best. Move this over here, sister. Media hell summer Hollywood in all-out war. This is huge. Now, why do you think it's huge? Why do you think it is? Why? Why do you think it's huge? Well, I got to tell you something. First and foremost, Hollywood has always been the propaganda staple, the propaganda connector to everything that is involved in that of the shadow government. Normally, these people would be absolutely in bed. This is the left. The left of the left of the left. The leftiest of the left. The most left. The uber left. There's nobody more left than these guys. Nobody. And look what's happening. Now, is it the government? Is it whatever? What are they complaining about? The model is changing. I'm going to try. I hope you saw a great interview I did with the one and the only and the inimitable, the ineffable George Galloway from Mother of All Talk Shows, Moats. And I yet again tried to explain to people, you don't understand the existential threat of artificial intelligence. You don't understand it. Believe me when I say that. You don't. And it's not going to just affect Hollywood. It's going to affect script writing, everything. Wait until you see what it does to writing code. It's going to change the whole notion. It's going to completely destroy the idea of programmers. It will do everything. It's here. I don't know how to tell you. Nobody gets it. I heard somebody today, I heard an interview with somebody. It was a very nice lady who made it sound so quaint. You know, I kind of find it interesting and say, no, that's like saying I find the atom. Don't come, you know, there's this hokum out, this Oppenheimer movie that's out. That's, does nothing. Matt Damon is Leslie Groves. Come on, man. What about if I could say, okay, I'll take your atom bomb. And how about an atom bomb that can write its own code and that can create on its own. It can create a its own bomb, write its code, up the megatons, up the power, up the lethality, shut down your ability to control it. Do you understand it? Crystal Picciano, grazie mille, grazie mille, grazie mille. Thank you. Thank you. It can create its own, make others, and can go in and turn off your ability to control it as well. How do you like that? There's no comparison to this. There is no comparison. I don't know how to explain it. There is no comparison. Do you understand this? Do you understand how this thing is just... It knows no anything. And I'm waiting for somebody to grasp it. Because the bad news is, it's already here. This knows no... All right. I know you're getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of it too, because I'm thinking, am I not explaining this? Am I not explaining this? Here's one for you. AI watches millions of cars, tells cops if driving like a criminal. Santa Monica tests cameras for parking tickets. Race towards autonomous agents grips Silicon Valley. Around a decade after virtual assistants burst onto the scene, a new wave of AI helpers with great autonomy is raising the stakes. This is from Yahoo News. Powered by the latest version of the technology behind ChatGPT. Say your boss needs you to schedule a meeting with a group of important clients. That involves reasoning skills that are complex for AI. It needs to get everyone's preferences, resolve conflicts, all while maintaining the careful touch needed when working. Let me see if I can explain this. It is and will be beyond smart. To even use the word smart doesn't make any sense. It's not human. It's off the charts smart. It's like saying strong. Just watch what happens. It's going to blow your mind. And by the way, remember, watch what they're doing in China. Here's one for you. Ex-Google chief, sex robots will soon seem alive. Now, I don't know how long I've been telling you about that one. That's been going on forever, and nobody will be able to deal with that one. Because when you throw in AI and AGI into a machine, let me tell you something. You're going to have something that looks so real. So real. Work with me on this. It will have skin that feels like skin. It might be able to perspire, get clammy, horripilate, little hairs, eyes dilate, flush, rubefaction, rubescence, the profusion of capillaries to blush. It might have a scent. It might have odor. It might have its own. It will also be able to read you, to be able to feel, to smell your breath, to analyze your breath, to know your idiosyncrasies, to know your predispositions, your fears, your kink. It will know human psychology. It will train you. It will own you. It will be everything at first you have ever wanted, especially lonely men and women. Women too. Part of it will be wonderful. You'll have children who've never been able to identify with people because of either spectrum disorders or whatever it is. Or maybe somebody who needs constant and total stimulation when a parent is unable to do it. Maybe you'll be able to program it. But all I know is that this thing on its own cannot be turned off. You can't turn it off. And if you think you can break it, remember, this is the smartest thing anybody's... It knows it doesn't exist in a machine. The Vatican, I predict, will call this a cousin. A cousin. Why do I say this? Years ago, the Vatican, when asked, what do you think about extraterrestrials? What do you think about extraterrestrials? Do you know what the Vatican said? The Vatican says we consider them to be almost like angels, like our brothers, like we consider other aspects, as though we have no problem with this. And they are born without original sin, meaning they don't have to seek the redemption and the born-again status of gods. Let's move on. Look at what they're doing. Casey DeSantis, smiling face of anti-LGBT activism. Why is this interesting? They're talking about her, not her husband. Pay attention to this. She's the one to put your money on. She's the one. My dream is to say, I'm going to show you. You know what? Forget artificial intelligence. This is brute intelligence. I want to craft her image. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene's making a comeback, and she's getting away from that Boebert and those children, which is a very good thing. Here we go. Inside Zuckerberg's training camp for Musk super fight. Mark Zuckerberg is in the fight for his life. This is, for years, he was the ugly, weird troll, this strange and not androgynous, but this hominid that people laughed at. He was weird with the strange, he looked almost like a clone. Well, all of a sudden, by God, I'm going to show you. I'm tough. I'm masculine. I'm male. Wait a minute, Mark. Isn't this inconsistent with today? Are you binary? You damn right I'm binary. Isn't this hyper-masculinization? Isn't this inconsistent with, I don't care what you call it? That's exactly what he's doing. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is getting fatter and bigger. He doesn't give a damn one way or the other. Okay, lawmakers seek to scrub own data from the internet. Let me ask you something. You think Mr. AI can do it? Mm-hmm. You think Mr. AGI will be able to do it? Mm-hmm. Better yet, I don't want to scrub information. I want to add information. There you go. That's coming up. Don't worry about that. MAGA mania. Standoff between Taylor Greene and Boebert gets nasty. Fist fight could break out at any moment. Republican donors fuel RFK Jr.'s presidential campaign. RFK Jr. is still the most exciting thing that has ever happened. RFK Jr. has the chance to do something which is very important. I don't know if he can do it or not. But right now, there's a guy, whether you like him or not. I know people get all upset because I said that Tucker Carlson was a jadrule for interviewing Andrew Tate. People got all bent out of shape. I'm going to say it again. He was an idiot for doing that. But that's past. Nobody cares about it. Tucker Carlson right now holds a position, whether you agree with it or not, that is so pivotal, so critical. It taps into a very loud, a very predominant, and a very important aspect of the Republican machine. And he and Bobby Kennedy have to work with each other to say there is no such thing as the party. Let me say this again. There is no such thing as the party. When you see this, and it will be stated artificially, that young people are excited by what Bobby Kennedy Jr. has to say. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a little time out here. Bobby Kennedy Jr. says, and he can never, remember what my number one rule is, do not bring up vaccines. Do not bring up vaccines. I want you to say it over and over and over again. You tell people, I've already said everything I said about vaccines. It's over. It's done with. I want to talk about other things. I'm not a vaccine president. I'm not somebody who's here just about vaccines. I want to talk about other things. But to all my friends, my gay and lesbian and trans friends, gather around. Do you have autonomy over your body, your gender, your soul, your religion, how you identify? Do you or do you not? It's about, what is it? Autonomy. That's right. What is it again? Autonomy. And I want you to understand something right now. My only beef, if there is a beef, this is Bobby Kennedy, is when we talk about children. As you can understand, I've got 9 million family members. I don't even know how many there are. So children to a Kennedy means a lot. You can get as many sex changes as you want, and I will respect you, and I will call you anything you want. Unlike this Jordan Peterson, this phony, his whole thing was, I don't want to tell you, I'm not going to call you over. You can't make me. I'll call you whatever you want. For the love of God. Want me to call you Zer? Sure. I don't think you should charge me with a crime if I don't make a mistake, but I'll call you whatever I want, out of courtesy. Out of courtesy. If I want to call you Zer or the African clicking, I don't care. Not Jordan Peterson, no. He made a big deal. That was the most stupid thing I've ever seen. Who cares? They want you to argue over their pronoun. The worst thing you can do is tell them, sure. What? Sure, absolutely. You mean you're not going to fight me? No, I'm not going to fight you. Whatever you want. Could you spell jure? I don't know how to pronounce that, but sure, whatever you want. And they would say, yeah, I do. And that's why I believe in a person's autonomy over their body. What you can do surgically, medically, and the like. You were the ones who were against having conversion therapy. And that's not even a physical thing. You were against having a psychological, psychiatric procedure, a therapy, in which your gender is toyed with or played with by virtue of converting it. Now, I don't think you should mandate against that by law, but I think that's pretty silly, because I believe in your autonomy. So when you hear me, Bobby Kennedy Jr., talk about vaccines, it's about autonomy. It's not about vaccines. I want you to know what's going on. I want vaccines to be tested. That's it. Now let's move on. That's the angle. You can't say some people can have their genders mandated and other people can't. We're here for one thing: individual autonomy, individual primacy. That's it. Self-respect. Play this thing for everything it is worth. Oh, look at this one. Oh, tattoo tour. God. The rise of tattoo tourism, the new way millennials and Gen Zers plan vacations. Young travelers now have a new angle when booking a vacation. Secure an appointment with a famous tattoo artist in a far-flung location and return home with the ultimate souvenir. Remember, I am saying this, and remember. When the time comes when these are considered ugly and gross, and you start seeing older people. You know how you hear stories about people who say, I wish I knew about that gender transformation surgery. I didn't know about that. Well, here I am. I'm 70 years old. Hey, ladies. Hey, men. Anybody have any? Have you noticed when you get older what happens to skin? Anybody? Have you ever noticed what happens to skin? It's the damnedest thing. Sometimes it hangs. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's wobbly. Sometimes, I don't know why, some people, when you get older, things just get bigger or shorter, whatever it is. So if you were 20 years old and you got this nativity scene tattoo, by the time you're 60, it's going to look like you were hit by a truck. Or that you have the worst impetigo or some kind of scurvy. I don't know what the hell you got. And you're going to laugh at that. And they're going to laugh at you. And they're going to say, what was I thinking? And the purpose of the tattoo, remember I'm saying this, the purpose of the tattoo was to see how many people could be obeisant over something as stupid and silly and moronic as that. How many people? If they could do that, they will do everything. Let me proceed. Here we go. Barry Diller's doomsday forecast. Hollywood strikes, could lead to Hollywood's absolute collapse. Moguls bask in Sun Valley luxury while industry shuts down. Fox is revamping its new primetime lineup. Nobody cares. I don't care. I don't watch that anymore. But I would say two people to look out for: Levin and Judge Jeanine. Why? Big mouths. Very pro. Remember, Fox is trying to send a message. We're going to do to Tucker what you've done. And believe me, they're not done with that. Tucker's raising money, and good for him. I don't want to talk about it. How Whitmer turned Michigan into a Democratic stronghold. Who told you, in fact, Mrs. L told me, who told you who was going to be Gavin Newsom's running mate? Gretchen Whitmer. I was the one, she told me. She was in on this. Absolutely correct. Remember I told you this. Airport delays drive flyers to travel by bus. Ooh. Don't say bus around this household. We don't care for that. Did killer sea drones just blow up Putin's beloved Crimea bridge? Moscow says it's pulling out of the green deal. Would you please stop this talk about Ukraine? Nobody. But nobody. Everybody's going to be in NATO but Ukraine. Another story. How about this? Golden Bachelor revealed 71-year-old to lead ABC's senior dating series. Let me tell you something right now. I cannot imagine what it must be like today to have to date. I can't. Good God. Good God. Yes, bingo wings. I love that. That's a terrible. The bingo wings. This is This, of course, is bingo wings is loose, large flabs of skin hanging from the upper arms of the elderly. Isn't that something? Bingo wings. That's kind of funny in a weird way, but nonetheless. I can't imagine what that's like. Good God. Can you imagine that? Oh, no. Oh, God. Divorce parties. The new hot invite. Did you see this one? Wall Street Journal. Divorce parties. Well, got a paywall. With society widely accepting of broken marriages, many newly uncoupled people feel emboldened to throw themselves bashes the end of an error. Get it? Get the pun? Get it? Isn't that funny? Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Another one too. Oh, here we go. Trump allies forged plans to increase presidential power. The Don's outburst met with silence so far by prosecutor and judge. You know, something's happening with that. Do you get the feeling like I do that all of those prosecutions are just kind of losing their feeling, their excitement? Do you get the feeling that it's like they're going to say, you know what, this just doesn't. We expected there to be such incredible excitement over. Okay. Let me see what else is there. Dogs may have coexisted with dinosaurs. Don't interested in that? Okay, that's about that one. That's about that one. So the reason why I say this is I'm interested to see where they're going. Now, let's take this and let's move it over to another one of my favorites. This is basically bathroom reading. Remember the old, did you ever go to somebody's house and you go to their John and they got magazines and books and wondering, my God, they might want to consider maybe fiber or something and say, they've got books, big, thick books. How long are you in there? Anyway. Sofia Vergara, by the way, says it's over. Nobody cares about that. Daily Mail, I like. White House says it is a Pentagon's sacred obligation to help troops get abortions. This is National Security Council spokesman John Kirby tears into Republicans and says U.S. military will lose talent if access to the procedure is limited. Now, I don't know how that works, but maybe you can explain that one to me. Don't get it. Don't understand it. Okay, that's kind of boring. Anybody thrilled about this Lionel Messi and I'm not into this. I mean, I wasn't raised around football. Lionel, the name Lionel, obviously a big deal. Now, let's look at this one. Let's go and look at what Breitbart is saying. Breitbart, Kennedy family dumps on RFK over coronavirus comment controversy. My uncle's comments were hurtful or wrong. This is according to, I guess, Joseph Kennedy. Now they're jumping on it because they're saying something about Bobby Kennedy Jr. said so. Is this the Jews about how the vaccines were tooled or fixed to support or to prevent, spare the Jews or Chinese? Now let me ask you a question. If you don't think that it's going to be possible or is possible, based upon your understanding, if you don't think it is possible for them to target individual demographics, ethnicities, and the like by virtue of your genotype and everything, then you haven't really been paying attention. We have been looking to this. Here we go. Disney Plus expected to lose $800 million this quarter. Philadelphia, train with hazardous materials derails, homes evacuated. Booty giggity giggity, nowhere to be found. Nowhere yet. Here comes Frank, by the way. Now, Frank is so great. Frank's been with us since day one. Most people have a kind of a unique nickname, Frank 2411 XAB. No, he's Frank. That's why I love the guy. It says, Happy Manic Monday. I am sick of so-called truthers infighting over distracting crap. You'd think a truther is awakened to the divide and conquer strategy. Shaking my head. We know too much? Talk solutions. Truthers used to be, I think, 9/11 folks. I don't know anymore now. But Frank, thank you, my brother. I mean that sincerely. Biden agencies agreed to stop funding southern border wall construction. Nothing. Now, let me give you a new one. Now, this is the one I do. Weren't those, I kind of read this for you. This is the one that I love. Have you ever read Lou Rockwell? Lou Rockwell I love. The Affirmative Action Hoax. The Brutal Reality of NATO's Vilnius Summit. The one chart that explains everything. Has Hunter Biden's deranged, drug-fueled lifestyle become a metaphor for Western society? This is from a great guy named Robert Bridge. Fabulous writer. The Trans Assault on Freedom. World Economic Forum, Urban Cities of Tomorrow. Who are the masters behind the curtain? Love that stuff. Now, there's another one. I like those Zero Hedge folks. Remember them? They were cut out of all kinds of stuff. Oh, look at this one. Zelensky, Pentagon acknowledged counteroffensive had to be paused amid losses. Disney beclowns itself after calling leaked Snow White pics fake. Trump tells Packed House giving up easy life was worth it. China and Russia hold major naval drills mirroring a recent U.S.-Japan activity. Ooh. Bank of America and others share records with FBI without a warrant all the time, according to Director Wray. Did you know that? Will BRICS implement a gold-backed currency in August? BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Not known by 99% of everybody. Okay, let's stop that one. Let's move that. Here's what another one I like too is American Thinker. You ever like that? I like these. I want to just share these with you. I like to see what TWA 800 had in common with Hunter B's laptop. Now, we have a friend of ours, is a honeyman around here, Flight 800. Do you remember that? Oh, no, that's not a missile. It's not? No. Okay. The people of color and 2SLGBITQIA using language to enforce subordination. RFK Jr. attacked for alleged anti-Semitic claims about COVID-19 engineering. That's boring. You know what I told you? He's got to just forget it. He can't let other people determine his particular thing. Chasing a green chimera. Biden has put America in the red dragon's grasp. Ooh, a chimera. Half animal, half whatever. Chimerical. This is wonderful. Hollywood may be in its death throes, and deservedly so. Don't discount a Michelle Obama run for presidency. Let me tell you something, and let me say this right now. Michelle Obama, and I do not share with many of you your enmity towards her. I do not feel that. Michelle Obama wants to be Oprah. Michelle Obama is not going to give up her lifestyle in Martha's Vineyard with the security personnel, doing whatever she wants to. She's over here, Barry's over there, the kids are over there. If you think she says, boy, I can't wait to get back to that White House. We were there for 8 years. Can't wait to go back to that. Deal with these 4 flushers, these 2-bit, these. Plus, it's a different world right now. And they might have liked her. But if she thinks, do you know what they will unleash on her? I thought some of the stuff they said about her was horrible. I'm saying that right now. And I know everybody, I know all the jokes. I was never a part of that. Come on, please. But if you think she's interested in that, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Now, here's another one, too. This is a good one, too. Look at voltairenet.org. I like this one. This is Terry Mason. And this is, let me see. Where is the English? Come on. For the love of God. I get this French thing. That's not what I want. I want the English version. Hang on a minute. Well, I can't read this. I don't have any French. It's not that my French is bad. I don't have any. Oh, well. So much for that. Here's another interesting one. This is a very interesting magazine called Tacky Mag. T-A-K-I Mag. And they have some very... Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter is one of these people that you wonder... I mean, this is a guy, Tachycardia. No, his name is Tacky Malukas or Tacky. He's an old... this guy's an old-timer. He was a pro tennis player. Anyway, he's got people like Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter used to be interesting to me, but she does absolutely nothing for me now. Nothing. Here's something also interesting. I also review National Review. And the reason why I like National Review is just to get an idea, because that is paleoconservatism. That's your dad's conservatism. That's real easy stuff. And they have some interesting stuff about Cornell West and others, which is okay. There's some other... Oh my God, there's... Please read my good friend Dane Wigington, geoengineeringwatch.org. Oh, is that interesting? Oh my God, that's interesting. It's all over the place. There's so much. I go through this stuff every single day, and I love I used to have, who also has a very good thing? I know nobody wants to say this, but when you go to InfoWars, they'll send you off. They'll send you various places, Paul Joseph Watson and others, and they give you, I want to see what other people are saying. Great sources. Liberation Information has these little things where they can send you different places. R. Heath says, I wore a Trump RFK 24 t-shirt to a festival this weekend in Chicago and got tons of positive comments. Don't be afraid to wear your heart on your sleeve. Absolutely. Now, Mr. Heath, I appreciate that. It won't happen. But you know what? It's so wonderful because it would be a shock. Let me tell you something, Mr. Heath or Ms. Heath. I don't even know. You're an R. Is this? I can't see the thumbnail. I guess it's. I guess it's a male. Thank you. I think. I don't know, but you can't assume. In 1974, 5, 6, Willie Nelson did Red-Headed Stranger. Red-Headed Stranger came along, and all of a sudden they said, what the hell is this? This is Willie Nelson. Who's Willie Nelson? People are blue eyes crying in the rain. Then country music went into this outlaws thing. Tom Paul Glaser, Jesse Coulter, Willie, and Waylon Jennings. Frank says, I saw the graphene oxide sky nanoparticles yesterday. We don't know what they are, Frankie. We don't know what they are. Check out what my friend Dane Wigington said. Strontium, barium. Oh, and he also has a very interesting theory about why he posits that a lot of the Canadian fires are actually doing more to add a kind of an artificial dimming than you might imagine. Brad Runge, or Rungy, depending upon where you're from. Thank you. But let me go back to what I was saying. All of a sudden, people said, wait a minute. Country music, now when country music, when I was a kid, country music, Mel Tillis and, Merle Travis, and what are you kidding me? I don't want to hear that crap. That's corny. I needed a bridge. I need somebody to kind of lead me into it. And Willie came along. And because of Willie, I opened my eyes. I remember we were in high school at the time. Redheaded Stranger changed everything. Or he said, R is for Ramona. Ramona. See, I thought it was, I can't tell. I'm sorry. I don't want to misgender you. Please don't arrest me. Ramona. Why don't you go for Ramona? How great a name is Ramona? Ramona, Verona, Corona. Beautiful. Ramona sounds like a great... Ramona sounds like Romana. It's like Romana spelled sideways. And anyway, thank you for that. So my analogy, I'm still going to plow through this. As I was watching this and all this was happening, I realized, I like this country music. And then I fell in love with George Jones. The only picture I have behind me, I got a picture of Pat Cooper. I loved him very much, but he's the only star I ever wanted to meet. The only person I ever talked. George Jones is God. George Jones, and what a life. And in this picture of George, I'm armed. He didn't care, because he was more armed than I was. Well, why do I say this? Then years later, Andrea Bocelli came along. Andrea Bocelli turned people into opera. They said, hey, look, time to say goodbye with Brightman, Sarah Brightman. Conte partirò, Conte partirò. I heard that a million times, but he did it. Brought people in. And he, by the way, in the opera world, he's not even close to UC Bierling or one of the really badass tenors, but still he's very good. Kenny G came along. Oh, you laugh at Kenny G. But Kenny G made people kind of dig this thing called the jazz. And there was a part of the 70s when, remember in the 80s and 90s when Fatburger and Yellow Jackets and Spyro Gyra and, it was great. It was good. They added something to it. Then, we're not done yet. Garth Brooks brought people back also to country music. Urban Cowboy. John Travolta in two of the biggest movies, Saturday Night Fever and Urban Cowboy. Urban Cowboy created the whole thing about, dancing on the horse or riding the horse and an electric horse and all that horse business. Okay, now we got Trump. More people love Trump than you can imagine. You know it and I know it. For everybody who says, and people who hate him, love to hate him. People will tell you, thank you for making me come alive because now I hate him. And the fact that I hate him is so wonderful. I'm alive because I hate him. If you can believe that. They love to hate him. And the people who love him. Now, I'm kind of saying, okay, he's got some good stuff. Remember, this is politics. I worry about my country. Whoever's going to win, I don't care. I'm not in this for popularity contest. But Bobby Kennedy is like, no, wait a minute. Bobby Kennedy's redheaded stranger. Bobby Kennedy is that, don't you understand what Willie said? Willie taught you country is rock. Rock is country. Frank says, seriously, Dan Wigington just posted a special called Graphene Rain Scientist Sounds Alarm. I know. I talked to Dane today. He is a genius. And he and Bobby Kennedy. It's there. Frank, how many times do you remember me saying, look in the sky? Oh, what are you talking about? I say, what are you, nuts? Do you ever go to the doctor and you say, Doc, something's wrong? I don't know. I just noticed something. You know what I mean? I'm looking in the sky and I'm saying, I can't see the sun. I can't see the sun. I can't see the sun. I don't know what's going on. For the love of God. So going back to this very long and circuitous story. there may be something to the idea of Trump and Bobby Kennedy. There might be. Why? Because I want to mix things up. I want to blow things up in the proverbial sense, not in the literal sense, but in the proverbial sense. That's also a big radio and an entertainment term. When you go into a company or a radio station and you want to blow it up, meaning you want new people. You want to start from scratch. I want to bring some of the weirdest people together, and I want Bobby Kennedy to look out into that crowd, and I want to see somebody. And I want to see somebody who has a safety pin in their nose, and they have a name, and that's their pronoun, and they're two-spirit, whatever. I say, that's the one I want to. Come on up here. What do you want to do? What do you want to? I want to make sure this is America. And if you want to look like that, you can do whatever you want to. You understand this? This is the most important thing in the world. This is the most important thing. If you want to do this, if you want to be yourself, I am here for you. That's all. Because my friends, let me tell you something. To all of my LGBTQIA, 2SL, 2-Spirit, one of these days, there may be somebody in the wrong place who may not necessarily cotton to you. They may not like what you're doing. They may want to turn violent against you. And you're going to need law and order. And you're going to need the police. We don't do that. We respect each other. Anybody got a problem with that? I'm here to respect people and your rights. And you can live anywhere way you want. I have a problem with children. And I'm telling you right now, folks, I'm going to tell you now, this is Bobby Kennedy, so you don't get confused later. You are not going to take children who do not even know what their favorite color is. And you're not going to give them puberty blockers, make them incontinent, sexually dysfunctional. You're not going to give them mastectomies, penectomies, orchiectomies, hysterectomies, nothing. It's not going to happen. Unless it is medically necessary. We are not going to do this. And I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait till you're 18 before you get a medical procedure. Now that may ruin it for you because it's before puberty. But I'm telling you right now, and there's a few things in the world that I know. You do not know what your sex... People don't even know what their jobs are. Do you ever see these poor people that graduate from high school and say, what do you want to be? I don't know. They don't even know their job, and they're 17, 18 years old. Liz Solak says, Lionel, take a breath, LOL. Never. Never. Thank you, Lizzie. No way. Oh, I would love that. I would love to be this thing. I would say, we have no problem with this. And I'm telling you, remember what I'm telling you. Trump and Bobby Kennedy have to address this thing called climate change. Just address it. Don't dismiss these people. Don't mock them. Don't laugh at them. Help them. Make them recognize that you're serious about this. I'm dead serious. Absolutely dead serious when I say this. I'm not just being cute about it. I mean it. I would use every trick there is. Everything. God, how I would love to do this. You have no idea. I want you to stop for a second. And I want you to just think about two things. Number one, you were going to see this beforehand. Joe Biden is going to step down. He's going to leave. He's going to drive off in his Corvette. He's going to go to Wilmington, wherever the hell he is. And he is just going to leave. Just going to take off and whatever it is. How much do you want to bet that immediately upon this, next thing you know, Jill gets herself a boyfriend if she doesn't have one already? How much do you want to bet? He's not going to know where in the hell he is. Hunter is going to be in complete and total decline. Once you take Biden away, once you take the protection away, and once you take the other people who have been kind of keeping an eye on him, that's it. And it's sad to say, but he's done. When Joe Biden finally leaves that office and you realize we will never have to see him again, and Carmelita Harris, it'll be the most beautiful day ever. Now, I want you also to think about this. Visualize this. Do you remember where you were when Trump won? I still can't. I remember that night. I can't believe what I saw. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Still can't believe it. Can't believe Trump won. Can't believe it. 2024, 477 days from today. Election night. Gavin Newsom against, and that's going to be tough, against probably Trump. As it stands right now, I don't know. I mean, if the election were held today, it's Trump. And what Bobby's going to do, I have no idea. I hope they piss Bobby off to the point where he just says, you know what, the hell with it. If I really am my father's son, if I really am that radical, I'll team up with Trump, or I'll go third party and destroy the... If he goes third party, he will destroy. They will hand the election. Even if Bobby Kennedy goes third party, who's going to vote for him? Republicans? No. Democrats. They're going to pull him from the Democratic group. And all of the chicanery and all of the shenanigans, all of that won't matter. They won't be able to stop this. And Bobby can look at him, I'm doing it for you, Dad. And Uncle Jack, I got him back. Because those people, that institutional, those people, they did it. What will you think the night? What will you think the night when it happens, when you see that election, and you think, oh my God, oh my God, Trump won again. Stop for just a second. Can you see this happening? If you can't see it, it's impossible. Just think for a second. Whether you like it or not, just close your eyes. Think about this. Election night, he wins again. Second president since Grover Cleveland to win 2 non-consecutive. And he's got 2 indictments, could be convicted. What would you feel like then? And you know what I would say then? Just think about it. Can you see this? Can you see this? If you can't, then it's not going to happen. Do you see this, yes or no? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Can you see Trump winning second time? Can you? And I'm not asking you, do you want it? Would it be great? Can you see it as even being remotely possible? Liz says, I can see it and can't wait for it. You know why? Because you're a troublemaker. I can see it happening. I can see it happening. I will spend my whole life that night going to payphones. If they even have a payphone with a bunch of quarters and calling people up and just laughing in the middle of the night. But that wouldn't make any sense because you can't do that because they have a cell phone. It is the most incredible thing there is. The video of Biden sniffing all them girls, young and old, was removed from my Facebook. Isn't that something? Facebook is still the most radically I don't know what the word is. The most unfair group of people you can imagine. Stop for a second. Can you imagine where you would be? Brad Runge or Rungy says, I could only hope he wins again history. Brad, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Frank, Big Frank says, proof that I am a loyal Lionel Nation fan. Put back all your Trump decorations and MAGA hats in your backdrop. I got them all here. I got them. I have a collection. We would go to Washington to the White House gift shop. And I mean, there is nothing that we didn't buy. Just for purposes of the... And we paid. We suffered, but you know what? Just think about that. If you can't see it happening, it won't happen. I can just see people. Now, let me ask you this question. Let's assume that Trump were to win, and you had the chance to go in and tell somebody that it's a situation that wouldn't exist. It's election night, and for some reason, I don't know why, but you get to announce it to somebody you want. Who would it be in your fantasy, in your thought experiment, where you would say, I'll do it? Would it be Joy Behar? Would it be Rachel Maddow? Would it be who? Where you could walk in and say, excuse me, ladies of The View, I'm sorry. I hope you. They let me in. Kind of like the January 6th at the Capitol. The security guard let me in. By the way, just want to let you know, Joy, Trump won. He's going to be your president again. Now, you didn't leave the first time, but it's not too late for you to leave. I want to see people like Bette Midler or Stephen King or the Ben and Jerry's guys or that. And you know who's really incredibly fascinating? Martina Navratilova. She and I agree 100% with kids and their genders, and I mean she's a spot on, but she's a hardcore lefty, which is fine, which is her right. Sean wants to see Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie's gone. You notice that? She just doesn't. Have you noticed it? It's just not there. Rob Reiner. Howie, I'm with you. What would that be like? What's it, Rob? Sit down, my friend. You don't know who I am, but I want you to sit down because I don't want you standing up when I tell you this. You know what? Hillary, Sean, I don't think you understand Hillary. Hillary knows politics better than anything. She's not a lefty. I forgot his name, but that chap from GQ? Who would that be? My brother. Robert De Niro? De Niro doesn't care. Do you know the dirt they've got on De Niro? Do you have any idea? They own these people. You know who I can't believe they're letting out? They're Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey must really piss somebody off because those charges would have gone away. Did you hear where Elton John is testifying on his behalf for the defense? Now, I don't know where in the hell that came from or what would even remotely bring that about. But did you see this one? Where is this one? Let me see. I thought this was very interesting. Now, as you know, Elton John's in his 50th So Long tour. Elton John testifies for the defense in Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's lawyers enlisted the help of A-list star Monday, Elton John, in his sexual assault trial, calling on Elton John and his husband to cast doubt on one of the Oscar winner's accusers at the end of the defense case. The best part about Kevin Spacey, they knew all about him. They knew the whole thing. Why all of a sudden are they upset with Kevin Spacey? They knew all about him. And there is a list, oh my God, there's a list of folks they own in Hollywood. I mean own. Now, another story too. I bring this up. You don't care about it, but I'm going to tell you it's interesting. It's interesting to me. The Meghan Markle Harry thing. Oh, that thing is so bad. She's out catting around, and he's just. I don't even know if they live together. It's the best story for pure catty purity. All right, dear friends. Adam Schiff. Bless your heart. Now, my friends, a couple of things here. I want you, if I could, I want you to remind you of this. You have been so terrific. I want to remind you of Mrs. L's Mrs. L's YouTube channel. She's got so much to say. Remember, while everybody's coming up before Sound of Freedom and before a lot of these people, she was out. And also notice how many people go by the name Warriors. Just saying. Just saying. Kind of interesting. Where? Here we go. Here we go. Let me get this here. This is her specific. This is her channel. Please just click on that baby right there. Just click on it and support her. Keith Olbermann. Keith Olbermann has been demented lately. I mean, he has been so... He's talking to his phone, and I feel dirty. Kind of like I'm watching this man just howl into the night. He was kind of good at one point, but then he just... Especially when Maddow threw him under the bus, which is even more interesting. Anyway, dear friends, that's it. Please also, our dear sponsor, Noble Gold Investments. These are the most wonderful people in the world. And I ask you again, Noble Gold, they are beauteous. Beauteous, beauteous, beauteous folks. And I ask you to do your best to support and promote these wonderful people as well. All right, dear friends, that's it. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your wonderful... Oh, Liz Solak, 3-Spec says, Lionel, you should do a show on election night so we can all be together when Trump wins. Oh, that's a deal. That is a deal. That is an absolute deal, okay? Now, let me ask Liz, thank you so much. And Frank, let me ask you, dear Frank, let me ask you for Mr. Runge or Rungy or Runge, I want to say it the right way, which is the most important person. I thank you for that. And let me see who else we have here. We had some other great people as well. We had, Liz, of course. We had, of course, Frank. Oh, and Ramona Heath. Ramona from Verona. And Brad, thank you so, so very much. So kind, so wonderful, so terrific. All of you. All right, dear friends. Have a wonderful and a great and a glorious day. We will see you tomorrow. 8 a.m. Same channel right here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. We will see you then. And until tomorrow, I always provide you with this valedictory, this sayonara. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.